Charlie, do you want us to wait or go ahead and continue? Thank you all for coming. We'll move on to correspondence. There is a letter here from Supervisor Randy Schell. This is something that I believe we discussed, the workman's comp of the fire department has been added to the town's fee through the county, which is how we do it. And they are proposing that we all take the lump sum that was charged and break it down for our assessments of the towns and villages and areas that they cover, and that the village would be assessed for $2,315.95 of this total. I think it's $7,322 bill.
It's only fair. This is, everybody owes their fair share, and I agree with Mr. Schell's memo. I make a motion that we do it.
Wait, what, the village paid it all in the past. Do you know what we paid, Pam?
I don't have the figure broken out. I'm assuming it would have been about the same.
About the same?
I think last year it was actually a little bit more. But we also have 2 individuals who are on workman's comp, so our bill is already quite high. But 3 years ago it was $50. 4 years ago it was only $200. So we have been paying this as part of our fee to the county, not realizing that it had jumped so much because of the fire department. So that was our mistake last year. And then the comptroller's office changed that it needed to be billed through the town. So Randy was made aware of this, realized how much it was. It essentially was our mistake that we didn't realize. And the way it is in the information from the county, it does not say Lowville Fire Department comp insurance. It's just meshed right in with everything else. So it obviously was an oversight, nobody's fault.
How many years ago, Randy, did the county start charging? The village has always paid for workman's comp because we're the involuntary form of government. In other words, but the county paid for it. And then, what, about 3-4 years ago, they decided to pass for your own employees, forget the fire department, they decided to pass it on to the towns. And my firm belief is that was so that they could stay under the 2% cap, complain about state government passing unfunded mandates, and then turn right around and do the same thing to us.
It used to be part of the tax levy. It was actually a tax bill, and then instead of doing that, they erased that. They removed it from the tax bill, and they just started billing the municipalities
separately.
All of our residents paid it in their taxes, but they
paid it through the county.
Right.
And this way, the county could pass it on, and it gave them extra towards the 2% cap or whatever.
Put it on it goes on our tax levy and is removed from theirs, and so it's a pass through that way. But I did talk to Pam when I got this notice, and I think, Pam, you said that your workman's comp bill for next year went down about the $7,000 that ours went up.
Yeah.
So you're actually going to save $5,500, $5,500 or so. I tell you, we aren't the only municipality this happened to. The Copenhagen Fire Department, the village has always been built that, and now it's paid by the town, and they're going to try to distribute that. They're having a little more
Did the village realize that they were being billed for it?
I don't think so until this.
Yeah.
This was a 1964 ruling that somebody just figured out in Lewis County. Anyway, I don't think a lot of other counties do it this way, but
So obviously, something that we have also discussed is having any costs of the fire department, whether it's building maintenance or whatever, be split more equally among all of those entities that they cover. This falls right in line with that, and I would make a motion to pay our portion of this amount in the amount of $2,315.95 to the town of Lowville.
I didn't really send that as a bill. I sent that out as information, asking municipalities what their thoughts were on that. So that, I did talk to Doug Hanno at the fire department. This money isn't due until next year to workers' comp in calendar year 2018. So we might get together with the fire department and somehow incorporate this into the budget so that it is there on a line item as an expense. And
For the future,
so
but
we're not asking for this money today.
Okay, but I think you've already sent out your budget for this year, correct?
Yeah, Don, if I could just,
Yeah.
I'm past budget officer for Lowville Fire Department.
Yeah.
I was there for about 10 years. I took an honorary 2 years ago. Doug Hanna was the person that replaced me. 4 years ago, I came to the village because someone told me we weren't paying anywhere near enough for our workman's comp. It was like $1,800. So I said, well, tell us what the right amount is and we'll put it in our budget and do that.
Right.
So I'm thinking, you know how we do it. We take all 5 towns. Randy's town is one of them. And
The
Village Lowville's
assessments
another
and,
one. Why not give it to Doug to put in that document, which is the Lowville Fire Department budget, that goes to all 5 entities? Our percentages, based on taxation, are already there. Everything else is split that way, and it probably would just go right in and be, we'd have to send a little note to each town. The reason you're up a little more than the 2% you've been going up each year is because of this, but it would, to me, that would be the way to do it since it's the fire department thing.
absolutely. I didn't know if you'd already paid it, so, because their budget had already gone out,
Another do.
that this was something that we should.
There is a workers' comp line item in their budget, the fire department budget, but
Never been big enough.
that's for their employees.
Correct.
They have certain employees that they put workers' comp on, but this covers the firefighters.
This covers all firefighters, yeah. And this is the piece that's been missing. We looked for it 4 years ago. Thank you. Yeah.
Terry Clark. Okay, so I'll rescind my motion.
Check for us.
Okay,
Yeah.
Write that down.
right? Anything else on that? Halloween Town will be taking place October 28th in the village of Lowville. They are asking for permission to use the Veterans Park. They have done the contract and a check, and I believe they submitted their insurance listing the village as additionally insured. If they haven't yet, it will be coming very soon. But I think that's all set. Would anybody like to give that blessing?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Dan. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's approved. New York State Department of Financial Services. Regard to vacant and abandoned properties. New legislation out there. Mark, do you want to fill us in?
This is just a follow-up on the legislation related to place last year on the zombie properties, which places an obligation on mortgage holders to maintain vacant and abandoned properties. The Department of Financial Services is finally implementing some regulations about that.
Anything else on correspondence that I do not have? Okay. So, on to officer and committee reports. Village attorney,
Everything I have is on the agenda.
thank you. Myself, I don't think I have anything additional to report. Clerk treasurer,
Let you know, we had auditors here last week. Expect probably the report maybe next month.
Thank you. Chief?
Two things. One, I'd like the village to consider a village ordinance on dumpsters. We don't deal with that all that often, but penal law doesn't cover it very well at all. So that's something we could look at. I think Mark, are you aware that West Carthage, I've been told they have an ordinance on dumpsters?
Well, Carthage does. You're talking about people that use a business dumpster and put their personal
Put
garbage in
personal
it?
stuff in it.
Yeah, Carthage has things on it. It's really a theft of services is what it
It doesn't fit the theft of services in the penal law where it means. So if we could, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but if we could look at something.
Let me
about
take a
towns-
look at what Carthage has. I'll forward it to you and see if it fits the bill for you.
Okay, sounds good. And then Dan, you asked a question earlier about FX Repair. That bill has not been paid. I've been holding off, waiting to see if you've had contact with them. I did. I talked to Billy Caprera, and he said his comment to me was he was going to look into it, and that's where it is. And my feeling is he can look as long as he wants, and we can just hold the bill in our pocket. Looks good. That's all I have.
Okay. Superintendent?
Most of the stuff I had we touched on already with the projects. I would like to commend the DPW. Dan, you kind of already did it, but I'd like to commend our men for being Johnny on the spot when we had the tree come down on New York State Route 26. I had already received a call from the DPW, and they were already on their way out to clean catch basins because of this freak storm that we received. And I hung up the phone and it rang in my hand, and it was the sheriff's department dispatcher saying that a tree had come down, and our men were already en route to the scene and had it cleaned up within 3 hours. So kudos to the Public Works Department. And we did not call two guys because they were out working in the evening flushing hydrants. So it may look like we're running a bit of a skeleton crew right now, but that's because we have an extra guy up at the water plant, and we have two guys that are actually flushing hydrants in the evening. So we are running a very lean crew right now.
And one that just retired.
And we have one that retired, and we have one that just came back from a leave. So I would also ask that the Times maybe put something in the paper. Did he leave? Linking Lewis is here though.
I'll be glad to do it.
At a request of
You want me
the
to give you
superintendent.
the microphone?
No, we just would like residents to do their due diligence and trim their trees that might be hanging into the roadway and hanging over the sidewalks. I have a list of about 20 properties that I'm ready to send letters out to that they need, indicating that they need to trim their trees.
Can you add hedges?
And
We could.
a lot of them were just trimmed with the storm. So, but you know, we would request people to do it. We don't want to trim people's trees because they get very, very touchy when you go on their property and trim their trees.
Well, that's not our responsibility.
And it's not our responsibility. I would also, I have a personnel thing that I'd like to discuss in executive session. That's all.
Tom, the, obviously leaf cleanup is through what date? Till it snows and ice is over?
We haven't started leaf cleanup yet, because
Right.
again, we're on a skeleton crew, where we have a few utility issues that we need to take care of. Flushing hydrants is one of them, flushing sewers is one of them, cleaning sewers is another.
And that's something we did not do a lot this summer because of our conserved water.
That's correct, Mayor. So we're catching up right now. We have a few leaks, a few things that we need to take care of. We were in Watson last week looking for a leak. Spent the better part of a day tracking down a leak and doing a repair.
Anybody, Mr. Comple, that's capable, you have it set up so they can even go down there on weekends and help by taking the leaves down themselves if they're so inclined.
And I will say that that has been a tremendous aid for us. We've not had as much street debris as we have in the years past.
Having the bunkers moved out in front so
How-
people can access.
However, we are getting brush from outside the village limits. People are bringing it in the weekend because we don't have any way to prove it. We don't have any cameras or anything like that, but We are accepting commercial waste that we should not be. We just don't have any way to police it. But it has allowed the DPW to do more things in the summer by having that outside.
Thank you. Anything else?
Nope.
Capital and future planning, are we good?
I just got one thing. Oh. We picked up this week, Woodrick picked it up on Fort Drum today. We picked up another generator. And main reason for that is,
Who's named Grace?
yeah, the pump station on Maple Ave does not have backup power. And now we can have backup power for down there. And this generator, I didn't figure we could let it go by. It only had 43 hours on it.
Oh my gosh.
We paid $639 for it. The government says it's worth $12,998.98.
Maybe I could do that for our cabin.
I do have one more thing. We would like to declare the 2008 F-350 dump truck surplus and place it on Auctions International as the new one has arrived. So I would ask for a motion.
I'd make, oh, go ahead,
I
Charlie.
was gonna say, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Anything else with the,
No.
okay. Personnel?
I would ask for,
I think we need an executive session in regard to that. Finance?
Nothing that I know of, right, Ed?
Nope,
We're
we
good.
did the audit in the last, the way that it cycled before we had the meeting earlier and or whatever later in September, the special meeting, so we'll do that it'll be done for then approved for next meeting.
Okay.
If I'm on the stick.
Liaisons, fire department. I would ask for an executive session after this in regard to a question that they have. Police department. Actually, I should say personnel question that they have.
Nothing.
Planning board and ZBA.
Yes, ma'am. The zoning, I believe it was the zoning board of appeals met concerning parking approval on the TIS property, and the Verizon towers will be, everything's been cleared. And at the ZBA meeting for the planning board, I can't keep track of one from the other. I think it was the ZBA, had determined that everybody's going to review the contract that we have with the county and give us recommendations, because it's supposed to be reviewed each year, which if it isn't, it silently renews itself, and they're going to forward it to me when they get done with their review for us to look at it and then hopefully present an updated recommendation to the county who holds our code enforcement contract. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Municipal board.
Next meeting is Tuesday, November 14th at 6 p.m. That's it.
Thank you. Town.
Nothing.
County.
We beat that dead horse enough about the taxes.
LBA is just the Halloween town coming up in a couple weekends. Public comment.
I'm just kind of wondering, the last 2 years, like I said, I can't stress that I've been in this village for quite a few years. The last 2 years, when it comes to the winter, I've gotten stuck coming out of my driveway, and when it hasn't even been plowed on my street. And I've never seen it like that ever since I've lived here.
Okay.
And other people have too. And people, especially, when we know that we're gonna have some bad weather, Mr. Compo, what's the rule of thumb for your department in order to go out to make sure that the streets are gonna be cleared off properly? Because, people do go to work at 5, 6, and 7. And like I said, I have never had a problem until these last 2 years. I did my part, did my driveway. My street was not even plowed.
Point of
And-
order, Mayor. All remarks shall be addressed to the board as a body and not to any member thereof, individual person. But you are always free to talk with someone outside of this, but that's just a point of order, Mayor.
Okay.
Okay.
So obviously, we have people on call. I say Tom Woodrick in the back happens to be one of them, not to put you on the spot, but if there's, I believe it's 2 inches, am I right? 2 inches of snow, that's when we call people in, is when there's 2 inches on the road.
Because when we
So
had that
depending
weather-
on-
that bad weather and stuff, and I mean, it was forecasted,
Right.
and for two years, it's,
Mayor, back years ago, we had 13 people in the DPW, and now they're working with 8. And yet, we have 2 other departments that have maintained and continue to have the same staffing or more. And maybe we need to look at a reallocation of how we handle staffing amongst our departments, because quite honestly, Ms. Leffer might be right. Maybe we're short in the people that we have in the winter to take care of that. And I mean, if the police can't get out to save somebody or to do something, then it doesn't happen. It doesn't warrant not having more men to do that. Maybe we need to look at that. Like I said, we were at 13 men at one time, and we're at 8 now. And the average person doesn't want to see their taxes go up, so maybe we need to look at reallocating some of our budget. That's just a thought that I have.
Thank you for that concern.
yeah, because I'm not the only one, there's a lot of people.
Obviously, it's been noted. Anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Anything else for anybody else for public comment? Yes, ma'am.
You know, this is to the whole board, if you could leave everything set up just the way it is, we have tomorrow, I'll put them on.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Leave the microphone there.
Yeah, leave that.
Yeah.
Nick, you stay right there as well.
I won't break.
Thank you, Randy, for coming. Anything else? Okay, so I would make a motion to head into executive session
I'll second it.
to
Okay,
discuss.
so to discuss 3 things, as I understand it. One is a claim issue. Second is a real property issue in terms of the acquisition or sale of real property. Third is a
real
personnel
property.
issue involving the performance of a specific individual.
And there's a fire
The real
department
property one, what is that one?
Fire hall?
No,
No, that's not what that's about?
no, this would be in regard to a personnel issue at the fire hall.
All right, so the fire hall thing earlier, you said you were going to say for executive session.
Yes.
Doesn't need to be.
We could also possibly discuss the acquisition of property or technically the ownership of property if we'd like, but I'm not sure we'll have enough time.
Okay, it's fine. That's fine. So it's just those 2 things then?
Yep. 3 things, and a DPW personnel.
For the DPW.
Yeah, okay.